So I spend a lot of time analyzing the training of great runners and trying to figure out what it is that works for them. One of the biggest common factors I see among these great runners is that they are not afraid to get after their long runs. So I've spent some time thinking about what is it about these faster long runs that makes these runners so great. So if I had to pick one single most important aspect of distance running, it is training the lactate threshold. I think these moderate-paced long runs are linked to training the lactate threshold. So I'm going to try to keep things pretty simple here. And the lactate threshold is a level of effort where the body is producing lactate at the same rate that it can remove it. So let's say that lactate threshold line is right here. Most trained distance runners can run a pace that will put them right at that line for roughly 20 to 35 minutes. You can actually run a pace longer than that, but at some point, your body's going to get fatigued and it's going to start creating more lactate than it can get rid of, and you are running above that lactate threshold now. So let's say you want to train at that lactate threshold level for longer than that 20 to 35 minutes that you can maintain that certain pace. Well, in order to do that, to stay below that line, you just need to ease the effort or slow down the pace. So here's where these moderate-paced long runs come into play. So again, lactate threshold is based on effort, but to make things simple, I'm going to assign a pace to things. So let's say my lactate threshold pace is 5:30 per mile. I'm going to define a moderate pace as roughly 40 seconds slower than lactate threshold pace. So for me, that'd be about 6:10 per mile. All of these times can vary due to anything that may affect your effort, such as the weather or the hilly terrain. So by training at that moderate pace, for a long time in the run, I'm going to be down here in this area where I'm not very close to that lactate threshold level. But slowly throughout the run, my effort level will increase, and eventually I'm going to be training pretty close to that lactate threshold level more in the second half of the run. So if in total I'm running for about 100 minutes, I might be getting 50 minutes that are pretty close to lactate threshold level. So that's just one extra really good benefit to a long run, along with all the other standard benefits of the long run, such as improved muscular strength in your legs and in your heart, increased capillaries and mitochondria, teaching your body how to use fuel more efficiently. In addition to all the physiological benefits of these long runs, they just make you so dang tough. So there is a drawback to these moderate-paced long runs though, and that is just that they're pretty hard on the body. Because of this, you probably shouldn't do a moderate pace every time you do a long run, but when you do it, make sure you allow for plenty of recovery afterwards. So this is my last day at home for Thanksgiving break, and what better way to end it than on one of my favorite routes with a moderate paced 15 miler. These kinds of runs and hilly routes are a big part of what made me the runner I am today, so I'm always super excited to get back home for one of these runs. So with the hilliness of this route, I'm probably expecting to average somewhere closer to 6:20 today, and I'm gonna give myself a mile or two to work into it still. But that's all I've got, so let's go run. I'm about 22 minutes in right now. Made it out to the gravel roads. I've got no idea what kind of pace I'm running because, as always, no GPS, but it feels like a good moderate pace. So I'm gonna try to show you some of the hills that I get to run, but cameras never do hills justice. Minutes into the run now. Not quite halfway, but maybe a little over 6.5 miles or so. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I just went down a huge hill. that means I've got to go back up somewhere. Over 65 minutes now. Still feeling pretty good. Most of the hills are done, but I've still got a couple big ones left. This is actually a 14-mile route that I made a while ago. So normally I'd be done by now, but since I'm going 15, I've just got a mile to add on through this neighborhood. That was a really solid run and much quicker than I thought it'd go. I did the old 10-second heart rate check right when I finished, and my heart rate was right around 160 or so. I'd say that was a tad harder than the moderate effort that I was talking about, but I just get so excited for these hilly long runs. So I'm definitely gonna need some good recovery after that run. So I'm gonna make sure the next 2 days, Sunday and Monday, are very, very easy. And then on Tuesday, I've got my first of 3 track workouts of this 10-week training cycle. That should be a good one, so I'll see you then.